Thanks for staying with us. So there is this drama that's been trending on Facebook, social media, and everywhere. It's trending. After a pastor announced his wedding to his new bride. It turns out that she's the wife of a member of his church. The estranged husband, however, has accompanied the claim as a complaint that in the photo evidence saying that the woman is still his wife and that he had paid bride price. The son of the pastor has also revealed that this father has not divorced his own mother before getting married to the member's wife. And his mother is still legally his first wife. This has become a serious discussion, and we think it's important that we don't just discuss the issue, but we take lessons from them and help us to know how to deal with issues related to these kinds of things in the future. That's why the ladies of your view wanted to discuss it. So you can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. Now, the part of the story that some of you might not know about is the fact that the wife, this new wife, also complained that her husband used to beat her, never took care of her, and didn't pay. And even her own mother came out to say, "You did not pay bride price, so you cannot say that you're married to my daughter." Furthermore, the daughter also said that they called the family meeting, where she had initially swore by the Bible, saying that, "Listen, I have divorced you, I'm done with this," because it was a traditional marriage. And she said, "Listen, I'm done with you. I want to go and find happiness elsewhere." So the man obviously let her go. She went on, moved on, and came to Lagos, married the new pastor, and it's a problem. So the questions, therefore, is, number one, when a woman is unhappy and feels assaulted by her own spouse, should she be free to find happiness elsewhere? If the answer is yes, should the happiness be with somebody who was like a spiritual father to both her husband and herself? That's really the question.
Is that we just put in one more rejoinder by the husband? The husband said he doesn't have any issue with his wife remarrying and being happy, but he feels like his wife loves him and he also loves his wife. And that's why would it be that the person, that whenever they have any issue in their marriage, he goes to meet this pastor to say, "My wife is doing ABCDO. I feel my wife is cheating. I don't know what's wrong with my wife." That every issue, even when they were separated, he was going to meet this pastor to explain the problem. That he does not have any issue with the woman mind, but she just felt very bad that how come is the spiritual leader that I am confiding in that happens to be the one that married.
Right. So the question is, shouldn't you find happiness with where you find happiness?
Spiritual leaders saw untapped juice and decided to help you tap it. Now you explain them like that, because they are two consenting adults. So I will start by saying that we always advise women, if you are in a toxic relationship and it's affecting your mental health and it's affecting your children, because sometimes we hear, "I want to stay because of my children. Let me stay because of my children." I watched that video when she was saying that her 4-year-old came to hug her to say, "Mommy, don't worry, I will take care of you." So we advise women that if you're in a toxic relationship, it's okay to take yourself out. And then when they take themselves out, we come back with another baggage of judgment on how they decided to take themselves out and who they took themselves to. They are two consenting adults. I wouldn't have, supported a pastor marrying someone when you have not divorced your wife. But we do not know if this wife is still alive or not. We don't have that. But I won't support that. I won't support a spiritual head. For instance, as a spiritual head, so to speak, if you want to make certain decisions, you need to be very careful because of the positions that you hold. And make sure that your books are clean. For cases like this, you can have something to talk about and say, "This is why and why I made sure that everything was, sorted before I went this way." So that wasn't done from the stories we're hearing. So I will fault him for that. But on who you choose to find happiness with, I don't think we have a right to select for you who you decide to find happiness with. Now, the case of abuse, this woman decided to save her life. Initially when I heard the story, I was wondering why, hey, pastor, just carry somebody's wife and all that. And I heard her mother, and I heard her story. And I realized that this person just needed somebody to make her feel like a human being. And she found that in the hands of this man. Let me leave it here.
Let's come to you.
Let me quickly agree with BC that there are two consenting adults. That was my initial view on the matter when it was trending, that I don't bother about adults. So, for me, if you're a man of God, hold yourself to very high standards. Why I say so is that you should not be seen to just wake up and a woman is already in your house. The debate should be, okay, I want to marry this woman, and you're wasting this much time and having that. I'm not talking about the woman now and all the abuses she suffered. And you're wasting too much time. People are, consulting other pastors, people in your field saying, this woman and myself, in the course of this and that, you're deliberating on whether it is ethically or morally okay to proceed. You don't just wake up. You're not every normal person. You just, and there's love, and you just explain it away. This is a member's wife. You have to have very high moral standards. And I'm going to say it carefully, because some people that are Muslims will come and say, yes, there was such an incident during the life of the Prophet. But he waited. The Rasul waited and consulted till he was divinely ordained to proceed with the marriage, I think, of Zainab, one of his wives. So why I'm saying that is, this one just woke up now. The matter is just everywhere, pepper scatter. The son is answering here, and this dirty linen being washed and the embarrassment happening, could have been avoided if you had the highest moral standards to judge yourself. Not by people judging you now. How do you judge yourself?
But
where do you put yourself?
Deserve to be happy. I mean, is it because of the man of
your
God?
happiness. Nobody's disputing your happiness now. Let's not. You see these small things. Your happiness. This selfishness that we are forgetting when we say nobody else matters to your happiness. Did you see now that his son has lost discretion and is talking publicly about it? If your decision that your choice that you're making in life will affect other people's life, you cannot be happy and say nobody else matters. As I am now on this set, I will not do a thing that will destroy my family name and say nobody else's happiness matters.
Let me go ahead. What are your thoughts on this?
I saw from this story, I saw a lot of selfishness, a lot of selfish people, and very little Christianity. And at the center of this is Christianity. At the center of it is church, God, marriage. And yet, when I looked at it, there was very little commitment to either of the three. And more of, I was not happy, I was not okay. And for me, I strongly believe that people should be happy. I want to live a very happy life, and I want to be happy in my marriage. I want every woman to enjoy what I'm enjoying in my home. And if you can't get it, then go through it the proper way. There's a divorce proceeding traditionally for Igbos. Like, there are things you do. Not that you just move out of the house and the next thing you are marrying another person.
She says she swore to the Bible that she's
divorced. No, they don't use...
and she also said they did not pay dowry.
So, the mother's video was very, very... The mother's video, when you watch the mother's video, a lot of people felt that based on what you hear from the mother, you can understand why the woman is like that. The mother said that they were not paid bride price, but the man settled the family rights. So I don't understand. If he settled the family rights, is it because what is the difference between family rights and bride price?
There's a huge difference, and I will give you my own story.
So if he had settled family rights and not paid bride price, and they were both married for 11 years, and you choose that your wife wants to go about and marry someone else, there should be basic communication. Like, what the man said was he saw it online. He saw the picture of his pastor being married to his wife, who has not divorced him. They were separated. The woman has her own perspective too. 2 wrongs don't make it right. Here I see 3 wrongs, which is why I said, in this place you have marriage, you have God, you have Christianity, and a group of people who should be committed to these 3, but are committed more to selfishness.
Right. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because, as BC said earlier, women are going through abusive relationships, and we try to encourage them that when it's too hot for you, take a step aside. But if you're going to step aside, how does the issue of morality and ethics, that's where you came in and saying that, who you step aside with? Should it be your husband's friend, his pastor, his colleague? These are ethical issues that we want to discuss here. And the other factor, the traditional factor, okay, did you divorce the right way? Did you pay dowry? These are factors these are real life issues that we want to understand exactly how it plays out and how we can learn from this experience. There
was something I found funny about the story where the man said he has been looking for her for a long time, looking everywhere for her. And suddenly a picture appeared on social media that she was getting married to the pastor. I'm like, you were looking for her. You don't know her family house. You don't know her friends. You don't know anything. And you looked for her for a while. And you relaxed because you didn't see her. And suddenly, so that story there, it needs to be checked. That's one. Two, there's also, because we do not know when it started and how it progressed, it would be unfair to say that the man of God did not ask questions, did not talk to the elders, did not find out the right things to do, because we do not know how long it took for this man to get married to her. We just saw a picture, and then we assumed that probably she ran to the house, and the next day they had a wedding. The pastor himself, I'm not taking brief for him, I don't know anybody. The pastor himself could have made some moves to ask his people, is it okay, can I do this? And then when you say that a dowry cannot... someone can say dowry is not paid when traditional marriage occurred. And in my place, it's quite different. You can pay the rights. If they don't collect that 50 kobo or 50 naira, if you forget to pay it, let me even give you an instance in my own. So my traditional marriage was happening. They had issues with settle palm wine, settle palm oil, settle all of that. And in the frenzy, friends and family members that came for the wedding had already started eating. The ceremony was already getting to 5:30 to 6 p.m. and they had not collected dowry. It was somebody that ran to me in the room to say, they've not collected dowry. If these people eat and go, this is the end. Tomorrow they will come back and say, we didn't give you our daughter. So people now had to go and look for my father even disappeared. They had to go and look for him and bring him back. Come and collect this money. This is the real thing today. Yeah. So it can happen where you settle all the rights and that dowry has not paid. So if the woman says the dowry was not paid, it is very, very possible. But let us always know that when things like this happen, human beings react differently. People will have their different stories. Everybody is pretending to be hot or forming hotting now. So a narcissistic man will come and tell you that my wife is doing this, my wife is doing that, will not tell you what he did that led to what the wife did. So let's just handle the issue based on the facts that we see.
Value. Okay, let me take Godwin. Godwin, are you there? Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I said good morning to the house.
Good morning.
All right. Yeah. You see, Obiadulo, I heard you speaking about or talking about dowry. You hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
I can hear you, sir.
Yes. You see, whether dowry or other complaints in the house, that pastor has no... In fact, I don't see any reason why that pastor should go ahead and marry that woman. I don't see any reason why. Because his duty as a pastor is to counsel the house, counsel his members, call the parents if at all the dowry has not been paid, and all this should be done. Settle the matter. And even if it goes beyond that, maybe as the woman explained that maybe she has been having a hard time in the house, well, if at all she wants to go ahead and marry another person, not the pastor. Because the pastor, as I see, has given a dent to other pastors around. That's adultery. Very, very wrong.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I want to say that husband and wife having, a mature man and woman having issues, normal. It happens in marriages. The idea of you now seeking spiritual help, a pastor's counsel, is also a good trajectory. And as a pastor or a counselor or a therapist, it's like a therapist now having relationship with
the clients.
One of the clients. That's the same
they are
way.
Adults now.
That's the same way this one is. It's like a doctor found that the doctor is taking care of a patient.
Like a principal marrying student.
You know, there are things that are just not appropriate. So this has all shades of wrong from the pastor's end. Of course, there are many things wrong fundamentally with that marriage. And legally, they can decide to go their separate ways and evolve in life. But the involvement of the pastor and the pastor's job as to settle the relationship now ended up being a case of pastor now married the wife. Now, let's even talk about the pastor who personally already did not properly divorce his wife. So they are both, this current marriage is
like an adultery.
Is 100% like an adultery.
So, Dr. my question to you, therefore, if there's a woman out there in this kind of situation where she's seeking counsel, she's attracted to her
falls in love with the pastor.
With her pastor, yes, or maybe a minister, or somebody in her church, or even her husband's friend who has been a counselor to her in this abusive marriage. Listen, and then this man beats her all the time, and she feels that there's no future with this marriage anymore. So what would we advise a woman like that in this situation? Are you not going to follow your heart and marry this person?
It's good to follow heart.
Yeah.
But shame now we don't lost.
Yes.
In those days, when they even say you caught, you have a chaperone, someone accompanying you out. You take time. When you in that delay, you're establishing your respect for yourself. My dad, so we used to tell us when we were young that if you're in an abusive marriage, please leave my daughter. He respected separation before divorce or reconciliation to give you people time to address issues.
That's a norm.
So if you have a marriage, maybe and you're sincerely in that marriage, you are suffering any issues. It could be emotional abuse, because not be every beating, not be every abuse be beating. So you take your time, you leave. Your husband will not go and search for you everywhere. He will meet you in your father's house. He will meet you amongst your people when you're addressing the issue and saying, until this matter, these conversations I once had have been had, I will not do anything. You don't run to a person. You're not talking to some women now, their colleague is the next call. So you're having a problem in your marriage, and your colleague of another sex is the one you're telling every day, my husband is not good to me. That one will just be taking information. You don't open people's hearts and see their hearts. And then tomorrow you end up with that person you don't think you've been taken advantage of twice.
Let me take Ade. Ade, are you there from Malaysia? Good morning, Ade.
Yeah, Ade is here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
This is my first caller.
Welcome to the show.
All right, thank you. See, this program is very, very an interesting program.
Thank you.
I'm going to align with Nima today. I think it's the first time that I will agree with Nima for several contribution. You know, most of these things is really pathetic. Don't let us judge the husband because it's something that is happening to somebody that is even close to me. Very, very, very close to me. At the end of the day, the woman has a lot of fun. When we are see the issue, by the time the issue has come out, everybody will base our judgment on emotion or because of what is happening around us. But most of these things happen caused by the woman. Most of the women are this way. It happened to my friend that when we immediately my friend travel out of the Nigeria. One pastor after trying to tell my friend's wife that she and her husband, they are not compatible. Can you imagine? Even though they are not compatible, as a pastor, what does he do? It's supposed to help them. We call you a pastor. We call you a shepherd. You are not supposed to be a deal breaker. Even though the pastor has speaking for the woman, you're supposed to tell her, oh, this is what you need to do. Or the husband, settle this matter amicably. And I want you to take this categorically concerning the other baby that is the family.
All right. Thank you very much, Ade. Let me ask a question. Based on what I just said, based on this, if the woman properly divorced her husband, can she go to the pastor?
Give it time.
So for me,
can she go to the pastor?
Of course. I'm not a proponent of divorce, but I strongly believe that some relationships cannot work. And sometimes maybe it's change or violence or whatever it is, it can't work. And if you get to that point, you are allowed to separate yourself and find yourself in another relationship. I felt that 7 months was pretty short for the transition culturally, but more importantly, you can't be a referee and a, what they call that stuff? You're a referee and a player at the same time. Yeah. That's the issue. So number one, pastor was wrong. Pastor shouldn't have done that. Number two, there's something that we haven't discussed. The fact that the mother of the bride said that many people did not expect that she would be able to marry because she's had 2 children. That the man felt that because you've had 2 children, nobody will take you. That's why the bride left his wife thinking that you will come back home. And a part of me was happy that, thankfully, somebody is able to marry a woman
but
that
we
has
now
had 2
have
children.
a problem with the person who didn't marry.
Yes. So for me, I believe that a lot of women feel locked because they are married, or they feel locked because they've had a child, or they've had 2 children that they can't move on.
Please, please, Nima, please. A doctor can marry a patient after treatment is over. A coach can marry a client after treatment is over. No. There's no law. It's the only law that holds you. Yes, the only law that holds you is when the person is your client. When you're administering treatment, you cannot have that relationship. When you are done and you have settled that treatment, the person is no longer your client, then you can marry. There's no law stopping you because you have coached this person before. We have seen doctors who have married patients that they met in the hospital. Teachers have married students who had graduated from school.
No,
so there's no law.
Let's put it in context. Doctor is a gynecologist. Doctor met husband and wife together and treated them for infertility. That's what the girl said, though. The girl said that the doctor was
it was from the statement both of you made that I'm taking this.
Put it in proper perspective.
It was from the statement you made I'm taking this. A teacher can marry a student after the student has finished school and graduated and is a consenting adult.
Yes.
So let's not make it seem, excuse me, let's not make, if the student's marriage has scattered and she falls in love with the teacher.
You were the one advising them to scatter.
No. She didn't. No.
The pastor
don't have that information.
Wait. Let me land. Who gave us the time frame that you have to wait it for 10 years or 20 years before you find love again? Who gave it to us? Society. Because if it's the man that it happens to, nobody will fault him for replacing her in 3 months. Nobody will do that. Nobody gave us the time frame. Let us allow people the prerogative to decide when they want to move on after they have healed. Hold on. The context now is it is adultery because the proper things were not done. But the time frame, who you choose to love, that's not what we're talking about.
This is our desire for freedom.
They'll come to you.
This is our desire for freedom. Okay, I want to be happy. I want to do whatever I want to do.
That's not the point.
At the end of the day, what we are doing is we cannot define what is right from what is wrong anymore. Oh, I want to be happy. I don't care. I want to be happy. I will marry whoever I want to marry regardless. Then we've lost morals. We don't know what is right from what is wrong. We must still be able to define what is right from what is wrong. This person
adultery is wrong, all of us on this table agree.
Nima, because I have Prince who will hold it, but let me come to you now.
Prince because I talk long.
Prince, thank you for holding. Are you there? Go ahead, please.
All right, good morning.
You're live.
Good morning.
Yeah.
How was the night?
That's a wrong question,
thank you.
sir.
All right. Please, you see, this kind of topic is not a topic that we really need to deliberate on. It's very, very simple. We don't need to blow so much grammar on it. The reason is this. If a woman is passing through a trial time in her home, it's very simple. Sit down and look at what is causing this problem. If this man has been abusing you, like I used to tell my wife, if I'm abusing you, see, marriage is not a do-or-die affair. It's very simple. Sit back. Can I still cope with this person? Can this person change later in future? If no, my dear, walk out of it. This is number one. Number two, a pastor where every home issues is being taken to receive counsel has no right in any way to take someone's wife. In any circumstances, it is very, very wrong. And I'm sorry to say this. I overheard you guys saying they are adults, they can make their decision on whom to be with. Being with a pastor is a wrong decision. In fact, being the pastor that this issue has been reporting to all this time is very, very wrong to be with him, whether they have paid a bride price or not. If you want to be with someone else, go ahead and be with someone else, but not the same pastor that you've been channeling your issue to.
All right, thank you. Guest Nima, go ahead, please.
So let's just put clarity on some issues. Student-teacher relationship is not possible. It's unethical, and I know the legal body, we have our ethics. I can't be doing a divorce for a man, for instance, now, while I am acting on that, start to have a relationship with him. And maybe the divorce is final, and within 2 months I'm married to him because we started the relationship already. I just want to be happy. If the wife knows what she's doing, she will come before the board with that issue, and I could have my license withdrawn because I have abused my position. Teacher-student relationship too is not possible. As long as when that child is learning under you, you're having a relationship and targeting when she will write to WAEC.
That's not what I said.
No, I'm just clarity on the issue. So we're just establishing the things that are
right from wrong.
The things that are universal as against the exceptions. There are exceptions to it. And those exceptions are slim. They will come later, but not the universal ones are what I'm establishing.
After the student
Doctor-student relationship is okay. You can be seeing a patient and the two of you fall in love, she consents, and that's a separate thing. But not while you're her doctor, you're taking examining her.
But that's what I said.
Taking advantage of the situation or probably go and have a sexual relationship. You will just have a Cuomo kind of example.
That's what I said. It's the same thing.
So Cuomo have his defense too, but the matter don't scatter governorship now. So there are certain standards that are universal that you must respect. Now, I wanted to come now because Tokwe said the mother say that nobody will take daughter with 2 children. Mama, for God's sake. You are a mother. If the world will not take her with 2 children, what help did you give your daughter?
Oh, but she mentioned she did.
Wait.
Please, let's balance
No, balance, wait.
Yeah, finish.
That girl should be able to come to her mother, have a place to stay, have her mother counsel her through a trying marriage. And her mother will be the one to say to her, it is not yet time. You can move on. Even if it's with the pastor, but not yet time. Give it time.
How many years,
because your divorce will be final. Now, to make a divorce final, traditionally, it's either you're returning bride price where it is paid,
or you're
wait now. They say they're not paid. Husband say they don't pay. Husband don't post picture. Me, I see the side of the husband.
You see the money.
Traditional marriage picture.
Did you see the money that was exchanged?
So let's not assume that they were arguing over oil and palm wine.
Like me now.
But the picture showed the girl knelt down and she knelt before his family.
Yes.
The assumption from the pictures I saw is that my dowry was paid.
No, you cannot assume that way. It is wrong.
I said assumption. And based on I said I was going to make 2 points. If dowry was not paid, but family introduction was done, because in my own place is 3 knocking, and at any point of the marriage we can reverse. Dowry and all of that is not exchanged, returned in my own culture.
Okay.
Now you will approach the family and say these are the issues. If I want to divorce my husband today, I simply just return home and I don't show up in 2 weeks. He will come to my house. Because he went to my family. I have not seen my wife. You will meet me there. They will say, Madam, follow your husband. I will say, I'm not going. They will say, what happened? Then when they know what exactly is happening, family will then keep you back till issues are clearly settled. Either you want to go back or you don't want to go back. It is settled.
We don't know the time frame.
Settled.
Yes.
Let's go to a break.
Thank you.
The mother was
settled. Is that they called for that meeting?
2 children.
And they settled it and swore with the Bible.
But that's not the account of the husband.
Nima was trying to conclude.
I was trying to explain the issue of abuse. So let's assume, because we need to clarify this teacher-student relationship. If I graduate, finish, I meet my teacher in future and fall in love, it's okay.
That's the
but
point,
not while I'm teaching.
No, the drama.
Like your pastor.
And I still do not say that. I will keep saying it.
My husband, we have issues. My husband has reported to you already.
We need to pray.
So I now kneel down. And I say, Pastor, help me to pray on my marriage.
Pray.
But as you're touching me,
No.
That's not how it happened.
No, let's use the teacher. Let me tell you. Let me have my own version. That's your version. My version is that the girl came and you back. What you do now? This girl deserves better.
She deserves love.
The girl is a family woman.
She deserves love.
She deserves to be loved, cared. So I'll counsel you.
Let me tell you.
I'll do everything.
Madam,
Yes,
you are a beautiful woman,
Yes,
made
Pastor.
in God's image.
Yes,
you deserve
Pastor.
to be loved.
Yes,
you deserve to be treated well.
Yes,
you deserve to be taken care of.
will you take this envelope?
No, it's not envelope.
There was money.
No,
You said the pastor
we need to pray. You have to pray. Then go home and ask the Holy Spirit to minister to you. Can you still stay in this toxic relationship?
No,
Excuse me, come back in 2 weeks, let's have a conversation. And it started from there. No,
and it's not 2 weeks. No, you deserve a good man in me. This has not finished that prayer. Morayo, you deserve a good man.
And then they hold yourself.
Morayo, you deserve a man like me who can give you a better life.
Did you see the video? There's a video of the pastor praying, wishing happy birthday to the
girl wishing.
Yes, the girl was wishing pastor happy birthday. Daddy, Daddy, you changed my life. I love you, Daddy. You see what all this our loving pastor. All these loving of pastors.
No, that's unfair.
Let's bring the conversation home.
Let's
so
lives.
you've had fun with all this drama.
No, we're buttressing point.
I see we are buttressing the point. But let us now take out. See, it's important that we elicit solutions and lessons from this whole experience. Because, as I said before, there are women going through toxic relationships right now, and they want out, and they fall in love with a counselor, somebody who has been their shepherd, somebody who has been their guide, and that man is divorced. He's also ready. They want to move on. When is the moral timing? What are the moral steps?
I like BC's perspective. BC already said
to take to ensure
we can't put a time frame to when it's right. But
so why are we judging them?
I like something that there was something I saw someone do. There's a judge in Bayelsa that did a public notification and. Because you want to protect your good name.
Some people don't know this now.
No, but that's how we're educating them now.
Okay.
We're educating you because if you're a pastor caught in this kind of situation and you want to protect your good name, you will do a publication that I, Pastor Kiniko of World Bank Church, I intend to marry a divorced and separated Mrs. Kiniko, who I will be taking a marriage at so and so date. This is to inform everybody that she's separated, I'm separated, and we are both as adults going to marriage. And I think that when you do that, especially if there can be controversies traced to such a relationship, the disclaimer protects your name in future I am divorced. Or the woman can say, Madam Kiniko, I want to officially state to the public I am officially divorced from Mr. A, father of my 2 children.
Yes. I like that you said this to clear this. But there's something, let me wear my coaching cap now. There's something you can call this sort of relationship. It's called trauma bonding. So you're hurting from one relationship, and the person who is giving you a shoulder to lean on, you suddenly start developing affection towards that person. I would advise every woman who is going through 1 or 2 things and is beginning to develop affection towards the person who is giving you a shoulder to take a step back because it may not be the real thing. Give it time, like Nima said, but that time depends on you. I will not put a time frame to the time you decide to give it. But let's be careful because a few years down the line, you may still find that the person may exhibit the same things you were running away from.
That's what I wanted to build on this trauma bonding thing. Yeah. So one person is at a disadvantage end. One person is vulnerable. The other person's head is correct.
Exactly.
She made the right choice. So, you know, some people try to establish rape based on this kind of arrangement. When we talked about the IDP camp women who had to resort to being abused, and they said no, they consented, but the women had no choice. Yeah. So this kind of situation, you are the pastor, that you are the person who is counseling trauma, if you should be able to spot that this person is trauma bonding and not take that advantage.
Some people don't know. It's education. They don't know.
Shame not there. Yes. When shame not there, you will not do disclaimer. When shame not there, you say you don't know, you don't care, you don't this.
Leave shame. Most people are actually in their feelings.
So we forgot to mention that there are children involved in this mess.
On both sides.
On both sides. Yeah. So, I mean, based on this woman, she's leaving her children with the man.
No, with her.
She take her children with her?
No, the mom's perspective, according to, because I watched this entire season film completely. The mother of the bride mentioned that she's also paying school fees for this child. That the bride has not been responsible.
Exactly. So let's come to that part of it, because we are talking about the pastor. We're judging the pastor, judging auntie. Uncle that married her first, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. He wasn't a husband. Neither was he a good father. So in that situation, as a man, should you, just because you are a man, we should absolve you of the responsibility in this situation?
I told you I watched all the seasons of this film. The man came out to say that he wants his wife to be happy, and he does not mind his wife remarrying. But he just felt bad that of all people that his wife could marry, it was the pastor he was confiding in. And I think that because, when a person wears slap big, if you steal this cup, you stole my cup, and then I now come to your house and I break down your TV and everything, they will not remember that you stole the cup. What will they remember? The person that did the more grand activity.
Yeah.
So the man, what the husband did was wrong. He's not been a very responsible husband according to the wife and the family of the bride. But compared to what she now, her reaction to the situation, everybody seemed to face her. And then we also tend to attack women more. There was a lot of attack on her.
Yeah, you cannot beat me and tell me how to cry. I will choose my cry the way my body moves.
Exactly.
So you have done your own. You should be explaining to us why I decided for 11 years. That's a woman who wanted to stay. That's a woman who, in this generation, they don't even stay more than 6 months. They see the red flags and they are running away. For a woman to stay 11 years raising children, she still had hope that something would happen, that this man would change. See, we go to the boiling point. So let's not always blame. And you know, is this part of the world?
I'm not judging how that
you always find a way to blame the man.
Find out what has to run.
I think we should see there are traditional ways of doing things. Most of us, we quickly discountenance our own methods of solving problems and adopt the Igbo ones. If we sit down sometimes and look at the rationale behind the ways our fathers solved and our mothers solved issues, we will know the wisdom. If you're in an abusive marriage, when you break out of that marriage, you break out of it respecting yourself and not allowing this kind of thing to happen. I would not even respect my mom to be doing a rejoinder on my behalf. When I was dating, if you told me, I'd say no. You cannot relate trace it to my parents. I don't want to do, I don't do that.
Okay. That's all we can take on the show. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.